listeners. Welcome to Sonic Lunch, the podcast where we talk about all things theater sound design. Now, normally we would be eating while we did this, but we will not be eating this week because some listeners have misophonia, which, like, if you have misophonia, why are you listening to podcasts?
Right.
This question I have. And
Fair.
some of y'all are nasty. You're nasty.
We're going to do a short little episode. We don't have a lot of time on our hands. So we're just going to talk about some sound design and introduce ourselves and just be humans for a little bit, for a few minutes.
Normally we're just voices that you hear in your ears, but this week we're going to be voices with backstories.
Voices with backstories. I love it.
Thank you. Now, of course, we've got a sponsor every week. So this week's sponsor is The Village Grill. The Village Grill! Why are you talking about us? We're not sponsoring you. Introduce yourself. What do you do in the department?
I am the post-MFA fellow. This position, it's a 2-year contract. They hire someone either fresh out of graduate school or that has an MFA and is wanting to start teaching. And it's a really great opportunity for someone who either is fresh out of grad school and like trying to figure out what they're doing, whether they want to go down the teaching path or whatever, to have this opportunity to get teaching experience and more design experience. I specifically am a sound designer with some dabbling in projection design. I get to meet lovely students like yourself and
thank you.
Get some more teaching experience under my belt. And, you know, going through grad school, I decided that I do want to teach as, you know, a life career on top of designing and being a theater practitioner. And so I'm glad this opportunity kind of quite literally fell in my lap.
What brought you to sound design?
So I trained for a very long time as a classical vocalist.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
8 years of voice lessons, competition,
Wow.
very heavy choral singing. I always knew I wanted to do something with music, and I was doing theater at the same time, trying to be an actor. Realized very fast that was not my journey. When I didn't get cast in a show, I was like, oh, well, we don't have a sound designer. Like, I don't know what that is. It's just like,
let me try to
this
do that.
This was back at like the days of CDs and like you had to like burn everything on a CD. But so I was like, I'm gonna sound design this show, and I was like, holy shit, I love this. And getting to be creative in a different way and still being able to stretch those music muscles.
Right. What's your favorite production you have seen or done?
I did this production of Wait Until Dark. If you've never read or seen the show, it's about this woman who is blind. These 2 men they befriend her and end up breaking into her house. There's a part in the show where she pulls all the fuses out of the breaker box and puts them on her level. And one of my favorite things about that show is you turn the lights off at that point. And when you don't have the advantage of seeing, you get the advantage of hearing. And one of my other favorite things too is about that show is it's written into the show that the fridge open and closes a lot.
Interesting.
So the fridge kind of becomes a character. So you hear...
I play the fridge.
Yeah, it's just you in the fridge like, hello! But you hear the hum of the fridge opening and closing.
So subtle, but so important.
And especially in this darkness part, now it doesn't make sense because like all the fuses are pulled out of the breaker, but like that's the only light that turns on.
Oh.
And now I'm like, that doesn't make sense. But for some reason it happens, and like it's written into the show that happens. That show was the first show that I did that I was like, I can make a career out of this.
That's so good.
And that was the first show that my parents saw that they were like, oh fuck,
you did that thing.
You did that show. Finding shows, whether I do them professionally or just for myself, that I get to showcase my work. And show normal audience members or just people in the industry like, this is what sound design can be.
What is the name of the ghost in Maya's house, and can you explain the lore behind it?
I think it's Reginald.
Reginald.
And I think, right, we had this conversation when we did Much Ado about like all land is stolen land.
Yes.
And so I think he was like a villager and just like killed a bunch of people, and then maybe one day they decided to fight back, and his unofficial grave was just like thrown in a pit with all the other like
I fell in the pit. You fell. Anyways,
with like all the like other soldiers and whoever that they killed.
Yeah.
And so now he's like, it's 2021. Everyone wants equality. What is this?
You have a woman playing a man.
Playing a man.
A woman in pants. God forbid.
My partner thinks that what's that show? Ghost Adventures.
Yeah.
Is like, I'm like, yeah, let's watch something scary tonight. And he goes, Ghost Adventures. I'm like, that's not a scary show.
No.
And so we were watching this YouTube video the other day of like people going out and doing Ghost Adventures, and they were like, yeah, the such and such ghost was like controlling the electronics and like making them fail, which I don't know how ghosts do that, like, or why they do that. I was like, ghosts are just, they're energy.
Facts.
Energy and static and electricity, like, that's all ghosts are. Just, they control the electronics. That's how it works.
Next semester, please make sure you sign up for the Science of Ghosts with MaeAnn.
Yeah. I'll be teaching it along with...
It's Theater 102, and she's bringing in a medium to... Ouija boards required. You have to purchase your own. Well, thank you so much for tuning into Sonic Lunch.
Kendall, this was lovely.
This has been lovely. Yes, signing off. I'm Kendall.
I'm MaeAnn.
And this is definitely not NPR. Good night.
Jesus Christ.